There's a quiet revolution underway. In labs and clinics around the world, scientists are asking a question that would have seemed absurd just a few decades ago. Can we actually delay menopause? Not just manage the symptoms, not just soften the landing, but truly slow down the biological processes that lead to ovarian aging in the first place. If that sounds far-fetched, you're not alone. I used to think the same thing until I started reading the research and saw what's already being tested. I'm Dr. Mana, your friend and functional medicine doctor. Welcome to part 3 of a 4-part series called Ovarian Aging, Menopause, and Longevity. Let's start with the big why. Why are we even asking this question? The average woman today lives into her 80s, but her ovaries, they retire around 50. That means we are spending 3 or 4 decades in a state of hormonal silence. And with that silence comes a rising risk of heart disease, osteoporosis, cognitive decline, sexual function, metabolic slowdown, and mood disorders. Now, what if we could extend ovarian function by just 5, 10, maybe even 15 years? What if we could give women more time in a hormonally protected state and help the ovaries coast into retirement instead of crashing into it? That's the hope, and here is where the science is going. Let me walk you through a few of the approaches scientists are exploring right now. The first drug that I want to discuss today is called Rapamycin. Rapamycin is a drug originally developed to prevent organ rejection after transplant. But here's what's fascinating. In mice, rapamycin has been shown to slow aging, improve mitochondrial function, and extend lifespan. At Columbia University, researchers are now testing whether low doses of rapamycin can preserve ovarian reserve and delay menopause. The early results? Promising. Rapamycin may help preserve ovarian follicles longer, reduce inflammation and fibrosis in ovarian tissue, and support healthier mitochondrial function and cellular cleanup. In mouse studies, it's been shown to prolong ovarian function, improve egg quality, extend the reproductive window, and lower markers of ovarian aging. In other words, rapamycin may not just extend fertility, it could delay the hormonal cliff that triggers so many midlife symptoms like brain fog, bone loss, fatigue, and cardiovascular changes. Second, this is a hormone called anti-Müllerian hormone, or AMH. AMH is produced by your ovaries and helps regulate how many eggs mature each cycle. As you age, AMH levels drop and your ovarian reserve declines. That's what eventually leads to menopause. A biotech company called Oviva Therapeutics is developing a therapy that gives your body a boost of AMH to slow down the rate at which you use your eggs. Unlike traditional hormone replacement therapy, which steps in after the ovaries shut down, or at least during perimenopause when the ovaries are in the process of shutting down, Oviva is trying to intervene earlier to conserve the ovarian reserve and delay the onset of perimenopause and menopause altogether. By doing that, you might not just preserve fertility, you might also keep your natural hormones longer. And with them, the protective benefits they offer for your heart, brain, bones, and metabolism. Then there's this company called Gamito, working on a therapy called Amino, and this one is wild. Instead of replacing hormones with pills or patches, Amino uses lab-grown ovarian support cells that respond to your brain's natural signals. These cells are designed to act like healthy ovarian tissue, releasing hormones like estrogen and progesterone when your body actually needs them. It's like building a mini biointelligent ovary that communicates with your entire system. Think of it as a smarter, more personalized alternative to traditional HRT, and is gaining traction. Amino recently received $10 million in funding from ARPA-H, the US agency investing in bold health innovations. The goal? Not just to make menopause more manageable, but to reimagine what's possible for midlife women. And here's the other thing, something called ovarian cryopreservation. It sounds like science fiction, but it's very much a reality. Ovarian tissue cryopreservation is a procedure in which a small piece of your ovarian tissue, which is rich in immature cells, is removed and frozen. No hormone stimulation is needed. It can be done at any age, even for young girls undergoing cancer treatment. Later, that tissue can be thawed and reimplanted. In many cases, this reimplanted tissue starts producing hormones again. Some women even resume natural cycles. I didn't know this, but over 200 babies have been born from this technique. But here's what's even more exciting. Researchers believe it might one day be used not just to preserve fertility, but to delay menopause. If we can reimplant preserved ovarian tissue in a healthy adult, we may be able to restore natural hormone production, giving women more time with their own internal rhythms. Scientists are even exploring whether adding rapamycin during the freezing process could help the tissue stay healthier and more functional long term. So yes, it's still evolving, but it's no longer science fiction. For proactive women, keeping tabs on this and just getting the latest information as it comes out, some of these options may become real options. We don't have the timing on this for the broader market yet, but I'll keep an eye on this for you. Now, before we get too starry-eyed, let's talk about the hard questions. Do we really want women to be menstruating into their 60s and 70s? What are the long-term risks of prolonged estrogen exposure? Could delaying menopause increase the risk of breast or uterine cancer? And maybe the biggest question of all, are we trying to fix something that isn't broken? Some argue that menopause is a natural evolutionary transition. Others worry that this movement is just another way to medicalize women's bodies or hold them to impossible standards of youth and productivity. These questions matter. We do need long-term safety data. We need humility. We need autonomy. We need informed consent, and we need rigorous ethics. But most of all, we need women to be involved in the decision-making process. And maybe the goal isn't to keep women ovulating into old age. Really, the goal is resilience. I think the goal should be about preserving the neuroprotective, cardioprotective, and metabolic benefits of ovarian hormones just a little bit longer. Maybe it's about softening the descent so the second half of life can be lived with more energy, more clarity, and more strength. Delaying menopause isn't about chasing youth. It's about giving women a choice, a longer runway into the second act of their lives. So, the science is young, but the questions are big, and they matter. In the next episode, we'll explore how these scientific advances are colliding with something just as powerful, a broader cultural shift. The US government, research agencies, even the White House had begun to take ovarian health seriously, but now there's a little bit of a change, a shift. So we'll talk about what's getting funded, what's coming next, and how the second half of life is becoming the next frontier in women's health and longevity. I'm Dr. Mana. Thank you for being curious with me. If this episode stirred something in you, share it, leave a comment, and remember, your second half deserves strategy, not surrender.